World of Warcraft, an MMORPG released in 2004, back when people were using dial-up like AOL, and Gmail had just come out. Somewhere around the end of 2010, between Wrath and Cataclysm is when I started playing the game. I made a human hunter, named him Animal, saw that it was taken, and named it Animaler, and then ran directly to the burning steps and died. This is also back when they were doing starter editions, and you only had like a week to play the game, and then you had to pay money, so I just kind of left him there. I dropped the game for about a year or two, and then really started playing it again when Mist of Pandaria released. I have been playing it casually for the last 12 years. In my time playing, I've experienced quite a lot of the game, and I've amassed about 2,500 achievements. And I realized, after all this time, 12 years, I've only gotten half of the achievements. I thought I would have had way more. So I've decided, this 12th of December, 2024, I'm starting a brand new account, and I'm going to see how many achievements I can get in 1 year. And I'd like to bring you guys with me on this journey. This is also like my first professional video that I've ever attempted, so sorry if the script is bad. I'm writing this on a notepad. Alright, let's start. Here's how we're gonna do this. We are gonna let a wheel pick our expansion, our faction, our race, and our class. I figured it would be more fun to do this at random. Alright, let's start with the expansion. Now that's just poetic. Now let's see the faction. Okay, let's pick our race. Oh boy. And the class. With that settled, I made my boy, and we are ready to start. And since this is a brand new account, it is going to force us onto the tutorial island. And as we progress, I'll explain a little bit more about what we're doing. So I've been waiting to do this for a long time, but I've been putting it off because I've just been lazy. But what really pushed it over the edge and got me to actually try it was a YouTube video by Lord Nabble, where he's currently doing a zone lock challenge, where he's staying in each zone until he's done getting everything. At first I thought of just following in his footsteps and doing a zone lock myself, but instead I would do an entire expansion. Now, as of making this video, I've decided to just go for achievements, not really go for appearances or anything like that. I will say I will be farming mobs for appearances in this first video because I didn't come to this resolution until just now. Speaking of now, if you've never really played on this island before, or if you've never played WoW in general, here's kind of the story of what happens. So you start off as this new recruit for the Horde or Alliance, depending on which side you pick. You've been assigned to find this missing platoon of soldiers that have washed up on some undiscovered island. But as you start to approach the island, a storm shows up and destroys your boat. Your commander is actually trying to find her daughter, who was part of that original group that came through here. However, there's all sorts of things that get in the way, such as quill boars and all sorts of other creatures. But it turns out she's actually being held captive for an ogre ritual to resurrect a dead dragon. So obviously we stop them, and we get the daughter back, and she reunites with her mother. We then go on to do a few odd quests here and there, and ultimately end up at the Ogre Castle, where they're resurrecting the dead dragon. We quickly get rid of it, and continue onward to the Horde capital of Orgrimmar. And it's from here that we can actually fully start our run. After a quick ride through the city, we get a mount, and I decide that, since I can't fly on it, we're gonna buy a better looking mount. There we go, much better. And now we head off to Chromie to change timelines to Pandaria. So how we're going to tackle the Pandaria expansion is sort of one thing at a time. We'll do it in the spirit of what Lord Nabble was doing. So we'll be starting with Jade Forest, we'll get all the stuff done for that, and then we'll move on to the next area. And we're going to kind of go by it a little fast, just cause I have about a week's worth of footage that we need to get through in about 20 minutes. So first things first, we are going to tackle the quest line. Basically, lore-wise, is the Alliance and Horde find an island shrouded in mists, and they race to claim it as part of their faction. As we approach through the mist, we are ambushed by the Alliance and have to make a quick pit stop. As you can imagine, Nazgrim was not very happy about it. This is also where we get introduced to the main villains of Pandaria, the Shah. It's basically old god runoff that takes advantage of your emotions. If you want a more in-depth analysis of what they are, I would recommend watching Nobble or Platinum WoW. I'm sure they have a few videos on them. Anyway, we spent some time clearing those out, and we make friends with the local Pandaren. They handed us a couple quests to get rid of some cats and to collect all their beer that was scattered during the fight. After that, we liberated them from the dirty Alliance dogs and established a new outpost for the Horde. And then came the next problem, the Hosen. These little guys are all over the Jade Forest, and they share a mutual hatred with the Jinyu, an ancient race of fish people who descended from Murlocs. But we're not interested in the Jinyu right now. The Hosen are causing all sorts of problems for us, and we gotta get rid of them. The easiest way being taking out their leader and making them fear us.
We then meet the best person in the game, Lorewalker Cho. He gives us some backstory and tells us we shouldn't fight with anybody. With this newfound wisdom, we befriend the Hosen and get them on our side. After befriending them, we bring in the Horde just to find that they've captured the Prince of Stormwind. Of course, we don't know that. We get a recap on the story and click a few heads. Rest in peace, Socks. And then we're off to go hang out with the Pandarans. We do a little pest control, help get rid of a nasty witch, head to the Arboretum, do even more pest control, and we help rescue some baby wind serpents. We even get to keep one as a friend. After that, Lorewalker Cho asks us to help restore this ancient mural that he discovered. However, on the way to one of the quest sites, we run into one of the reasons why I picked Hunter. This porcupine is what's called a spirit beast. It's a rare and powerful creature that can help hunters once it's tamed. However, to tame it, we have to weaken it first. And I'm in just questing gear, so let's see how this goes. Went about as well as expected. Handful of issues right off the bat. One is that it would two-tap my pets, and the other is that it couldn't be CC'd. I did figure out that it could be concussion shot, which helps immensely. The new strategy now is to not summon my pet and concussion shot it until it's low enough to be tamed. Let's see how it goes. And with that, one of the spirit beasts have been caught. I definitely panicked there when it wouldn't let me tame it because my pet was dead and I didn't revive it and dismiss it. Not to mention it started healing itself as I was taming it, which I thought would cancel it. But with Triumph at hand and my blood pressure much higher than it was, we continue on. Shortly after, we actually stumble upon the Mogu conducting some sort of ritual. The Mogu were actually a type of Titan construct meant to help the world, but thanks to the old god Yasarj, they were corrupted. We put a stop to that ritual, and we continue towards the Tian Monastery. We do some training, we run some errands, and we beat the crap out of a lot of people. We share a drink, and with that side quest done, we head back to actually doing the main quest. We have to get a jade shipment so Lore Walker Cho can finish part of that mural, as well as for the statue that they're constructing, but we'll talk about that later. For now, though, we have to rescue the miners that have been trapped in a cave-in. However, before that, I had an idea. What if I got 2 spirit beasts? And so I did. With that settled, we went to the mine and rescued the miners, securing enough jade to get the second part of the mural finished, taking the excess to the Jade Serpent statue. This statue is being constructed for the actual Jade Serpent, Yulan. She's a part of the August Celestials, which are the demigods of Pandaria. Demigods are basically animal gods that can kind of come back from dying. It's a weird thing. Definitely look into the lore. I don't know much about it, especially since they got into it in Shadowlands, and that was not great. Anyways, back to the statue. We deliver the jade, and they send us off to the Jade Serpent Temple. We meet Faye, and she puts us on a few quests to make some friends and have some fun. After we complete her quests, she reveals that she is actually the Jade Serpent Yulan. She explains how the statue is very important, and the Pandaren spent a very long time building it. Oh hey look! A race war! 12 years later, I'm still mad about this. With the Shah fully unleashed, we have no choice but to try and mitigate the damage, using the broken pieces of statue to weaken the Shah, and rescuing whatever's left of our comrades. Sadly, this is where the Jade Forest storyline ends. It's bittersweet, but, well, it's really just bitter. It does mean that we can actually get to the collecting part of this video. The storyline is done. So, about the rares. The Jade Forest has 8 rares, all spread around, excluding the War Scout and the Warbringer, as well as 4 treasures and 5 weapons. At first, I wasn't really using the add-on. I was just kind of going around and doing whatever. Got a pair of pants off of this one, and went searching for the Ancient Jinyu Staff, one of the weapons that is hidden around. It's supposed to spawn in these rivers, and oh, there it is. That's a lot easier than I thought it would be. Next, I go looking for the Ancient Pandaren mining pick, but I didn't realize that it was in the mine, so I just kind of flew around like an idiot for a while. After figuring out that it was actually in the mine, I went inside and did a round, sadly not finding it today. Flew up top to go find the Hammer of 10 Thunders, killed another Mogu rare, and got more pants. This will sadly become a thing. I've also been collecting these story scrolls every once in a while. I won't show all of them, just because I don't think it's that important. But this is where you can find them all in the Jade Forest. With no luck finding the hammer, I decide to go and grab a very easy achievement, which is to recreate the scene in the cinematic for Mist of Pandaria. I then went looking for the jade-infused blade held by the Jade Warrior statue in the Witches area. This one's particularly hard to get, just because it's a high-traffic questing area, so a lot of people are gonna run into this. And sadly, I picked a server for new players, which means a lot more people are gonna explore the Pandaria expansion. However, I do think I lucked out a little bit, because the anniversary event is also happening right now, which is making new players go to Teneris instead. This does come to bite me at some point down the line. I waited about an hour, gave up, and went to go check the hammer location one more time and to grab that dagger. With no luck finding the hammer, I went down to find the ship locker at the southern coast of the Jade Forest, getting a free level up out of it. Then I came across some sort of like pseudo rare. It was a crab that had like a multi-part quest line that wasn't a quest line. I'm actually really excited to see what happens because I've never done this quest line before. I head off to kill the second crab that's in the Jade Forest. All the rest are in different areas, and we'll get to them when we get to them. And now we get into actually hunting the rares. So there are 8 rares: Erobi, Craxix, Sarnak, Morgren, Kornos, Ferdinand, Aethys, and Mr. Ferocious. So each one has their basic rare drop, which is usually pants. However, each of them has their own unique drop just for them, and that's what we're going to be going for. Here's a list of what they can drop. Up first is Sarnak, and on first kill, he drops, you guessed it, pants. Up next is Erobi, and he drops pants. Craxix, pants. Mr. Ferocious, pants. Pants, pants, pants. For hours, I am just getting pants over and over again. I get so bored of getting pants that I decide to take on a Zandalari War Scout. And if you've never fought one before, they have a crazy amount of health, they do a crazy amount of damage, and they have so many abilities. Luckily, they don't drop pants. They drop an insignia that gives you reputation and a bag full of profession goodies. And almost as if the game wanted to reward my efforts, immediately after, I get a weapon. And pants. With that, we can scratch Morgren off the list. And since I was in the area, I decided to look for the Hammer of 10 Thunders one more time, and actually managed to find it. After that, it was back to rare hunting. Or should I just say pants gathering? The worst part is that I can't even wear half of them. For a second, I thought I got a rare weapon, but it was just purple pants. I guess you could say it felt like a kick in the pants. I'll see myself out. Luckily, on my next kill, I actually got a weapon. So now we can cross Kornos off the list. Taking a break from getting pants, I decided to do one of the core concepts of Pandaria's expansion, scenarios. They were basically mini dungeons. The one I'm going to run is called a Brewing Storm. You help a Pandara lady make her electric alcohol, and help a village defend from a Sorok invasion. With the boss down and the beer brewed, we are done with the scenario. I most likely won't be running any more until we get to the end game. That way, when I'm max level, we can just blast through them and get the achievements real easy. For now, let's keep getting pants. It's almost worse the less rares you have because it takes half an hour for them to respawn. So I just have all this time on my hands between kills. So much time that I got an achievement for bouncing a ball 25 times with that pet wind serpent I got. Also, before anyone asks, no, I will not be grinding reputations in Pandaria. At least not yet. After receiving my 25th pair of pants, I decided to grind trash mobs in the zone to get all those little blue items you see at the bottom left. This is something I probably won't continue in new videos for a number of reasons. One reason is I believe they share appearances with a lot of dungeon drops or quest gear. The other reason is that I have about 7 other questing areas to get through, so chances are I will be getting these just along the way. That being said, I did score a gray item and 2 green cloth items for my efforts. 3 more pants and I'm starting to run out of bag space. Spent some time hunting down some critters for the To All the Squirrels I Once Caressed achievement, and I decided the pants had to go. But don't you worry, they'll be back. Also, can we just take a moment to talk about the lady lying on the ground? Why is she doing that? I legitimately don't know, so if someone could tell me, that'd be cool. And almost as soon as we got rid of them, they're back. This time, however, they brought a friend. We can now cross Erobi off the list. That just leaves the mantis, the Sorok, and the fish. Except looking back, I guess I got the fish? But I didn't get the footage for it. So, oopsies. And not even half an hour later. You love to see it. With Sarnak off the list, all we have left is the Mantid. I also tried my hand at checking things in war mode. I heard that's a strat that people use to try and find treasures and rares. However, it didn't really help with finding the statue or the mining pick. I did get 2 extra pairs of pants every half an hour though. But then 20 minutes later, I see it. I have been checking these spots for hours at this point, and I was so relieved to see it. But the only downside to it
is that I need the mining skill to actually fully equip it. But even after getting the skill, it didn't register the appearance for me. I guess hunters can't use two-handed weapons of this type, but the important thing is that I got it. So I just ended up stuffing it into my bank tab. And after checking the jade statue one more time, a miracle happened. With that, we're officially done hunting the rares. And immediately after, it felt like I hit the lottery. This felt like it took forever to get, but it was worth it for that achievement. This sword looks okay too, I guess. The only thing left I want to do in Jade Forest is to run the Temple of the Jade Serpent dungeon. And you guys remember that anniversary event that's happening? Yeah, this is the part where it bites me. Since everyone's queuing for the time-walking dungeons and the Codex of Chromie, nobody wants to run some old, outdated 12-year-old dungeon. So I tried my hand at doing it myself. And died. Twice. So I thought maybe sitting in queue wouldn't be that bad. I sat in that queue for an hour and a half. Not a single healer or tank in sight. So I gave up for the night. I figured I could try it tomorrow. And so the next day I queued up right next to the broken statue. I don't remember how long it took, but we eventually got a queue. It was a pretty standard run. You know, we blew through it. They did skip the book guy, which I was kind of bummed about, but it's whatever. With the Shaw of Doubt defeated, we're officially done with the dungeon. Of course, until I run it at max level for all the transmogs. We let Faye know we're ready to leave and take one last look at the broken statue. We did it! Jade Forest is done. Now we're off to the Valley of the Four Winds. I'd like to thank anyone who is still here at the end of the video. This took way too long to make, especially because I got super sick for the first week of the new year, so I couldn't work on the video at all. But it's done now. All it took was a majority of January, which is why I'd be super grateful if you could like the video and subscribe. It would mean so much to me. But it's done. Video's done. I'm done. At least for now. I'm not good with outros, so I'll just say see you in the next video. Bye-bye.